What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and the point of the videos that I make are not to discredit any firearms, any firearm manufacturers, any particular models, or anything like that. I make these videos, for one, it's content. Two, just to make people aware of some of the issues with certain handguns out there, so you can know, so you can learn, so you can understand. I'm not trying to bash any firearm. I'm not trying to say the one that you are carrying is bad or you shouldn't carry it. That is not the case at all. When I make a video about bad luck with a firearm or anything like that, it doesn't mean the one that you have, the one that you test with, the one that you train with is bad in any way. It just means whether I got a lemon, the one I got, something went wrong with it, or I did something to it. And in this case, I did nothing to it. It's just the handgun basically starting to have issues. But before I get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite handguns that I own. And there's many reasons. We're going to go over why I like it so much. And it's actually, once again, pretty decently scary because I've actually been carrying this handgun. It's not my main go-to, but I carry it every now and then. And I've been putting it through its paces at the range to really get good with it, train with it, and be able to trust it. And my very last range trip was a disaster. And then the one before that, when I was shooting outdoors with it, was also a disaster. I was actually going to be making a full-length review of the Mossberg MC2C. It is cleared and safety checked. Now, obviously, on this table, you see stuff like the Hellcat, right? These go for about $500. You also see that FN Reflex. These go for about $500 to $550. You see a Stoeger STR9 Micro Compact. These are about $350. Shield Plus, about $375 to $425. And I don't even know why it's on here, but I have a Springfield Armory XD Subcompact that I actually got for about $300 at the door, maybe a little bit more, but just an awesome steal, right? One thing these all have in common is I like all these handguns a lot, and I think that they all have a lot of value, and they all have their place in carry. The problem is, when it comes to Micro 9s, forget the XD, I don't even know why it's here. When it comes to these Micro 9s, there's so many awesome options that I really like, and so it makes it very hard for me to choose what my main carry is. But one that definitely stuck out, even though the Hellcat is my second favorite handgun, the Shield Plus is my third favorite handgun for carry, the Mossberg just stuck out. And one is the overall width, right? It's a wider handgun this way, and it's a little bit thicker in that grip. So it actually is a Micro 9 that fills my hand perfectly, and it makes it a very ergonomic handgun, making it a very smooth and flat shooting handgun for me. With stuff like the FN Reflex, yes, I like how ergonomic it is, but it is so thin. Like I always say, it almost leaves something to be desired, right? Same with the Hellcat. It feels pretty good in the hand, but once again, there's just something missing. They're so thin, it just feels like something's missing. Same with the Stoeger, right? It feels really good in the hand, but it's still missing something, right? It's not like an XD Subcompact where you got this big, thick grip and you can get a great purchase on it. But the Mossberg is wider, as you can see. With my Shield, I had to throw a whole grip on there because it felt so awkward. You see the Hellcat? Look at compared to the Mossberg frame, right? It's so much wider this way. And what's nice about that is it doesn't necessarily affect printing that much at all, especially with how thin it is. But they did a great job at giving it perfect ergonomics for your hands. I mean, it just feels great. And this is with the 11+1 setup. So this is an awesome size handgun, about the size of a Glock 43, just a little bit thicker. But it's 11+1 with that flush mag. It also comes optics ready. Comes with awesome 3-dot sights right out of the box. They are metal. I am running a Sealy Cat X Pro on here. Absolutely love that optic. Nothing but great success with Sealy, right? Then there is a rail on there if you want to mount anything. I don't think I've ever seen anyone mount anything on their Mossberg MC2Cs because the number one problem you are going to have is finding a holster with that light. We're going to get into the problems in a sec. Then you got awesome memory pads to help fight recoil, keep that finger off the trigger. Just everything about this handgun is dang near perfect. And on top of that, going for about $415, you really can't beat the Mossberg. And it has a great finish, a great slide finish. And this is my second Mossberg MC2C. It's my third Mossberg pistol, my second MC2C. I did have the MC1SC originally, the single stack, right? Now, the first time I had a Mossberg MC2C, I had to get rid of it. I actually think I documented on this channel, I was having non-stop light primer strikes. Sent it away to Mossberg. They were great with their customer service. They were awesome. Got it back. More light primer strikes. Now what's interesting about this is the Mossberg MC2C, in order to take it down, you have to press on that back plate when it's locked to the rear. When you press on that back plate, then you remove the striker, and from there, it's similar to a Glock. When the striker's gone, it just can be removed, right? It's not hitting anything or being blocked. So that is how you take that down. The problem is, you're also touching your striker. You're getting oils on it if there's oils around while you're cleaning, or stuff on your hands, and that can cause light primer strikes. So eventually I just got rid of my Mossberg MC2C. Well, I picked another one up because I love the handgun. I love the way it shoots, how flat it is. One of my favorite things though is that trigger. I like the flat face trigger on it, and it's just, there is nothing extra about this trigger. It's just literally the perfect defensive trigger. Has a nice defined wall, a nice clean, crisp break. And like I said, it's not too light for everyday carry in any way, shape, or form. It's honestly the perfect size handgun. If I could carry any handgun with 11+1 capacity, this is the exact size I would take. But this handgun right here has failed me. So I went off on my own. I loaded it up. I was trying to sight in my new dot that I put on it. And I'm shooting, and we get a light primer strike. I'm like, okay, it's the ammo. There's no way this Mossberg is doing it again after all the rounds I put through it, right? So I go to the next shot, right? Light primer strike. I'm like, what is going on? So then I'm shooting, and I'm letting it go. I'm mag dumping, letting the whole mag go. And what happens? That trigger doesn't reset. And I'm like, what is going on today? Like, this is just ridiculous, right? And so the ammo, I chalk that up to being the ammo, right? Maybe it's not the Mossberg. It's possibly the ammo because it was cheaper ammo. But that trigger resetting was an issue, right? So what do I mean by that? When I would pull the trigger, and I'm holding it down for reset, and I release my finger, it stays exactly like this. Normally what's supposed to happen is, boom, spring forward, and shot. That actually happened 2 times in the same magazine the first time that started happening. So I had a light primer strike and 2 dead triggers. From there, I kept having light primer strikes, and dead triggers. I eventually just gave up. I was going to make a full-on video about it, but I was like, dude, like, it was me and my buddy Dan out there. I'm like, bro, this thing is just having major issues. I can't even shoot it right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. So by the time we left, I only ran 3 mags through it, and during that time, I would say we had 3 or 4 dead triggers, and we had a couple light primer strikes. Now, I was going to make a video. Like I said, I was sighting in my dot first. Let's see if we can get a dead trigger to pop up. Nope, it's probably not going to do it once again because we are on video. Now, if you have a Mossberg MC2C, should you sell it? No. Do not get rid of it. It is a great handgun. It's a great shooting handgun. I just have a lemon. Now, I don't know if that connector is out of spec. I don't know what happened. Once again, the light primer strikes could still be that ammo. But also the Mossberg MC2C has been known for having a weak striker, or a striker's striker speed based off the springs, weights, all that. It's been known to have some issues. But if yours runs flawlessly and hasn't caused any issues, chances are you are good to go. And I wish that's what happened with mine. Like I said, I've been carrying this. I just made a video a couple weeks ago saying one of my favorite handguns to carry that I rarely talk about. And it was on the Mossberg MC2C. Once again, people are going to say, I've never seen so many malfunctions in handguns. When you shoot thousands of rounds through tons and tons of different handguns, you get issues. When you shoot thousands of rounds through any firearms, ARs, doesn't matter what it is, you get issues. Issues get exposed. If you're only putting 100, 200 rounds through your handguns, you're not going to find anything. But when you're putting a couple thousand rounds through it, you're shooting 1,000 to 2,000 rounds every month minimum. That's when stuff starts to expose itself. And for the Mossberg, that day just did not sit right with me. So we're going to keep testing it before I send it back. I'm actually probably going to make a full review on this where the issue is happening. I want to show you how great this handgun shoots, how well it performs, how good it feels, but I also want to show you what's going on with it, right? Then we'll get it sent over to Mossberg. I'm sure they have great customer service. I'm sure it hasn't changed since the original time I sent it in. Once again, that was a different Mossberg. But I'm sure they'll take care of it, send it back to me with no problems. I love the Mossberg MC2C. That's why it's just such a bummer, and it sort of hurts for this to even happen. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.